What's up, Ravens fans? It's the time of the week where we answer your questions in Ravens Mailbag. There's 3 games left of the regular season, and you have a lot of questions like, why did the Ravens sign Ryan Mallett? And are Kelechi Osemele and Chris Givens going to be on this team long term? All of that and more on today's Mailbag.
Our first question comes from a friend of the program at Mad Scientist 2, Laverne. What up? Good to hear from you again. Laverne asks, given that we get our guys on IR healthy, what does this team need to add to be a contender in 2016? Well, with that stipulation, I'd say the Ravens probably don't have to add all that much, because if you remember back to training camp, we all looked at this roster and said, wow, there's about 10 Pro Bowlers on this. This is an all-star squad.
A lot of people were picking this team to not only make the playoffs, but be a Super Bowl contender.
Exactly. But with that said, I think with the guys coming back healthy from IR, I still look at 3 different positions. I'd say you need a playmaking wide receiver because you're not really sure at Steve Smith's age, even if he comes back and doesn't retire, how good is he going to be? Is he going to be still making that amount of plays that he did before? Same goes with Terrell Suggs at his age. Is he going to be the same sack artist? You need a pass rushing outside linebacker. And then I'll also point to cornerback. I think the secondary has struggled this year, and they haven't really even been that banged up as opposed to last season. So I think you need to draft a corner, hopefully to be outside starting, and bump Ladarius Webb inside.
All right, the next question comes from Walker Skeeter, and the question is, why did you sign quarterback Ryan Mallett? Well, to me, it's a simple thing. Right now, John Harbaugh said 2016 season starts right now, and I think this is really a move for next year. Ryan Mallett is a former 3rd-round pick who has a lot of potential, and what the Ravens want is they want to have a backup quarterback behind Joe Flacco who has experience and can make plays and win games if he's inserted into the lineup. We all expect Joe Flacco to be back in training camp and ready for the start of the year, but you never exactly know how those recoveries are going to go, and so this is an opportunity to get Ryan Mallett in the building. Expect him to be here throughout the offseason program. That is just so important for those wide receivers and quarterbacks, and then when you get to training camp in the regular season, he has that experience and that familiarity if Joe's not ready or if there's any kind of injury to him again.
And here's a talented guy the league was buzzing about just 2 years ago, really 1 year ago.
Yeah.
The next question comes from @Rob Bass, and he asks, what's the percentage we signed Kelechi Osemele to a long-term deal? Well, I think I answered this question just recently.
Right now, yeah.
Seriously. The last time I answered it, I said it was about 0%. Well, now that Kelechi Osemele is playing left tackle and could have a future at that position with the Ravens, I'm going to bump that up, and I'm going to say it's about a 45% chance that he does re-sign. I know that's kind of high. I don't want to go 50-50. That's a cop-out. I'll say 45 because, A, it's a good sign that he and Ozzie are already in negotiations. I like to hear that. They're getting ahead of this, and it tells me the Ravens are very interested in bringing him back. But why I won't put it above 45 is Eugene Monroe is still there. Yeah. He's still a very talented player if he can stay on the field. So if you're re-signing KO to be your left tackle, well, what are you doing with Eugene? Are you cutting him? That comes with financial costs and dead cap room. There's a lot of things to sort out before that happens. If the Ravens cut Eugene, yeah, I'd say the chances of KO comeback are a lot higher.
All right, the next question comes from Dave Johns. Will we keep Chris Givens long-term? A lot of you guys are already thinking towards next year. I think if you're putting that at 45% for KO, I'm going to put Chris Givens low. I'm going to go about 25% for him. Here's a guy the Ravens traded for to really be a piece this year to try to give them the weapon that they thought Rashad Perriman was going to be before he got injured. He's a speedy guy who can take the top off the defense, but in his 9 games here, he's had 16 catches, 284 yards, 1 touchdown. Not exactly lit the world on fire. I think there's a possibility they bring him back, but I won't put it too high.
Right. Our last question comes from Isaac Gilbert Dargan, and he asks, are the Ravens a bad team or just an unlucky one? Well, I'm not going to say the Ravens are a bad team. I feel like I might get fired if I say that, and I don't actually think that's the case. The Ravens have played a lot of good teams very close. They didn't play the Seahawks close, but how many offensive starters were they missing in that game?
15?
Yeah, something like that, exactly. But now you look at it, and yeah, they've had problems in the secondary, and they haven't had injuries there and whatnot. That play needs to be better. And in other areas, not just the secondary. This team has struggled in some specific areas of the game. With that said, there's definitely been bad luck. How can you not say the Jaguars loss when the refs blow a call is not bad luck? How can you say the Oakland game is not bad luck? There's been a number of instances. So I think it's a little mixture of both.
It always is. A little bit of everything. So that's it for us today, but thanks for watching and sending those questions each and every week on social media.